We have been getting some incredible Spider-Man figures from Hot Toys recently, and we can thank PlayStation Spider-Man 2 for most of these. This game gave us some beautiful looking suits, whether you enjoyed this game as much as the first one or not. It's no secret that I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man, and I loved both games, so I knew I had to get this Anti-Venom suit in my collection. But I do own their black suit Spider-Man from the game, and that suit tore in the worst place possible. So with them using the same suit material, giving us heavy symbiote pieces that stick to the suit and twist the joints, will the Anti-Venom suit be a banger or just another rip in the crotchhole region? As you all know, all good unboxings start with a box, and this one looks awesome. It matches the aesthetic of the other Spider-Man 2 releases, with the tendrils on the edges moving in towards the image of the figure in the middle. This figure looks awesome with all the tendrils on his back, and I can't wait to get him out here. Text stating Marvel Spider-Man 2 can be seen up top, then the figure info is down below. This is VGM 69. Nice. The sides of the box then have the figure info. The top and bottom of the box states Spider-Man 2, then the back of the box has a ton of additional info. Now let's slide the top cover off the box, and this one is pretty big, but I think we got it all on camera, just about. Now we can get a sneak peek of that figure through that open window right there. The sides of this box have the figure info with an interesting scan line looking effect for the background, and on the back there's a pretty cool image of the figure also in that scan line effect with text that states Peter Parker Anti-Venom Suit. And I guess some foreshadowing, yes, that text is gonna come back to haunt me. Let's slide the plastic figure tray out here now, and this is actually 2 levels of tray. The bottom tray holds all of his symbiote pieces, and there are way more here than I initially thought, so I have no clue where I'm going to fit all these. Then of course the top tray has a figure and his more basic accessories like the webs in that top little tray here. And now taking the top off, we can now get to that figure. But real quick, if you enjoy content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and hit the bell to be notified when new content goes live. Now let's get into it. Getting him out here, this just looks great. I love how the white contrasts the black accents, and that big black spider logo in the middle just really stands out. This suit has that rubbery, sticky feel that the black suit had, so these two seem like they are definitely 100% that same material. That is either really good or really bad. The suit is textured to give that symbiote type appearance, and I think that they once again did a phenomenal job bringing this suit from the game into the real world. The muscles are all very well defined and padded. The back has the removable buttons for where the symbiotes will go, and they even put some tread on the bottom of his spider shoes. Most of the stitching is pretty small as well, so it's not too noticeable, so initial impressions wise, this suit is amazing, but we still have a ton of accessories to look at. So let's look at those accessories, starting with his webs. He gets the usual array of webs that we've been getting with all Spider-Man 2 releases. There's that spiral type web, the pointy tri-web, the bent swinging type web, the straight swinging type web, the pointy shooting web, and then the rounded tip shooting web. Now let's look at his hands, and he actually gets some wild looking hands this time. Right out of the box, he has a pair of relaxed style hands. He gets a pair of closed fists with holes through them so he can actually hold the webs. Then he gets a pair of web shooting hands, and oddly, one of mine has a bent finger, but for me at least, it's not the end of the world, but it does look pretty odd. For these hands, you can actually pop the palms off and then take the palms with the holes in them to just pop in here, and then of course a web can be stuck into that hole and bam, web shooting hands. He also gets a pair of fingers curled in style hands, and these hands look amazing. There's some padding detail on the palms, and then that symbiote texture looks amazing and really blends in well with the suits. And now for those wild looking hands. He gets 2 ginormous symbiote hands. The left hand is in an open palm style, and the right hand is a closed fist. These are just looking incredible. Of course, the symbiote on them is pretty smooth and not crazy detailed as compared to the suit texture, but I still love these. You could pop his hands off and then slide these on, and heck yeah, I cannot wait to pose him with these. This is why I needed this figure. Now for his swap out lenses. Right out of the box, he has the wide eye lenses, and these are just held in with magnets. The detail here is pretty great with a similar texture detail to the suit. Then he gets a pair of slightly smaller lenses, which I kind of prefer the look of. Then there's a pair of even smaller lenses for the completely angry look, and these ones, yeah, they look incredible on the figure. His base is a classic hexagonal shape, but I absolutely hate that it says Peter Parker Anti-Venom Suit on it. It should have just said Anti-Venom Suit like the black suit and Superior Suit, so just why in the world would they put Peter Parker on it? Hot Toys just never do this again. But other than the focal point of the base being pretty much ruined for me, the rest of the base does look pretty good with the textured black sections and the smooth white logo, and then the white symbiotes on the sides. He gets a flight pole and waist clamp. Just know that the waist clamp may damage the suit material if you actually use it to clamp him to the base. And the flight pole just pegs right into the base. Now we can finally look at his many other symbiote pieces, starting with his other arm piece. This one is a huge symbiote shooting piece and it looks awesome. I can already tell that it's much larger than the black suit piece, which we'll look at in the comparison section, but just putting this on the figure, man, it looks crazy good and it's gonna look awesome when I mix it in there with some big symbiote hands. Now for his symbiote back piece, and this is pretty neat. There's 4 holes that the symbiote's attached to, and then the 4 pegs actually peg into his back. And to put this on him, we need to first remove his back pieces and hopefully never lose them. I might just put him back in the box. Then we slide the symbiote piece up from his feet up to those holes, and then you can just peg it in there and it feels pretty secure. Just be careful not to poke the suit or anything while sliding it on, or else it might get damaged. There are so many symbiote pieces here, and we actually get to assemble them and attach them to his back, so let's just do that right now. Now that these are all pegged together and on his back, these do have some articulation. You can bend them around, twist them, whatever you want to do. But overall, this looks incredible. I absolutely love this. I kind of hope Hot Toys makes another black suit from the game, but actually makes it the symbiote suit this time with some bulging symbiote pieces, because I want to see a bunch of black symbiote pieces we can put on the figure, kind of like this one. But what do you guys think? Should Hot Toys make another black suit, but make him proper symbiote this time? And also, what do you think of the Anti-Venom suit right here? He looks huge with all of these pieces on him, and I know he's going to take up a lot of room in the display, but we have to display him with all these on him, right? Let's look at his articulation now and see what this Spider-Man can do. Of course, we saw that his back symbiote pieces articulate, but as expected, his suit also has a pretty great range of motion if the crotch doesn't rip, of course. Of course, we saw that his back symbiote pieces articulate, but as expected, his suit also has a pretty great range of motion if the crotch doesn't rip, of course. Now let's do some comparisons, starting with the black suit from Spider-Man 2. This is the perfect suit to compare the Anti-Venom Suit to, because the proportions look like they're very similar, if not the same. The suit materials seem very similar as well, and of course, they're both symbiote suits. But I do have some extra symbiote pieces on the black suit that actually came from the Bully Maguire figure, because for me at least, the black suit didn't come with nearly enough symbiote pieces. Most of these suits have a rubbery, sticky feel to them that perfectly represents the symbiote. Looks wise, I like the black suit a little bit more since it has some textured pieces that look like muscle sticking out and just some nice line work all around there. Plus, I am a big fan of the giant white spider logo. Of course, both suits are accurate to the game, but the white suit just doesn't look as good in my opinion. Yes, the contrasting might be a little bit better on this suit because it has some more black accents, but just look wise, I have to give it to the black suit. But of course, accessories wise, the Anti-Venom Suit takes it, because just look at that. The black suit does get some Waldos with symbiotes on it that I had to leave in the box, but overall the Anti-Venom Suit has way more big symbiote pieces. But to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous for the posing section because the symbiote pieces are kind of tough to keep on his arms, and then they make the arms bend downwards, so we'll have to see how that goes. Overall though, I really like how these two look together, and I'm very excited to get them into display, although the Anti-Venom Suit will overtake everything. And just to call out what I was talking about earlier, yeah, the base for the black suit is better, because who thought it was a good idea to put Peter Parker there on the Anti-Venom Suit base? And yeah, the black suit has that rip right in the crotch region, but so far the Anti-Venom Suit is safe. Now real quick, since they both have some pretty big back pieces, I just put the superior suit next to the Anti-Venom suit, and these look really cool next to each other. They are of course very different suits because they both come from the game sort of, but also the superior suit has some comic book origins. But either way, these look awesome next to each other. Now it's time to get wild with some posing, and honestly, this is a pretty tough figure to pose with all the symbiotes on there. He gets very imbalanced easily, and the symbiotes kind of move around on their own when you're trying to adjust them, and it's pretty rough. But it still looks amazing. Just look at him here with all those symbiotes on his back and on his hands, and man, this does look amazing, but it is a little annoying to pull off. But there's another cool thing we can do. So for the next pose, I took the symbiote pieces off his back and put them on the floor, and that looks sick, like he's kind of shooting the symbiotes out of his hands into the floor. So if you don't want that piece on his back because it makes him pretty unbalanced, there are definitely options to not use it and still have it look really cool. And now I'll just do some more poses of him in the background with and without the symbiote pieces, and yeah, I love this Spider-Man figure. So far, at least his crotchal region survived and didn't rip, luckily, and he looks incredible. It's the Anti-Venom suit, of course, so it's white with those gorgeous looking black accents. It's such a cool moment in the game when the suit gets created, and I knew I needed it in figure form, especially when I saw it announced. But it's not without its flaws. The symbiote pieces are incredible, yes. They look great and give this figure so much presence. However, they're heavy and they don't pose or balance well, especially the pieces on his back. The back pieces like to rotate around when you're trying to move them, and it's great that the pieces articulate, but the joints are also pretty visible depending on the angle, so it's a little annoying, especially the screw you can kind of see in there. Then his symbiote hand pieces are incredible, but they're also pretty hard to use. They're heavy, so they rotate his hands and arms downwards unless you balance them perfectly. Then they don't like to peg in properly unless you really push it, and I feel like I'm kind of maybe damaging the suit underneath when I do that, so they kind of want to slip off easily as well. And on top of that, it feels like they kind of grip the suit, so I worry about suit damage using them long term if they do end up sticking together. But yes, I know, I said I love the suit, and I do, but I also love posing my figures, and this is just a tough suit to pose with. Like I said, the symbiote pieces make them very unbalanced, and if you don't use bases in your collection, then you might have a tough time with this one. If you are getting this one, you'll definitely see what I mean when you get it in hand. I do think this is a suit that Spider-Man collectors should get since it's very unique and came out looking very good, but I just had to warn you about some annoyances you will definitely run into. And as for the question if the suit will inevitably get damaged, well, mine already has kinda. With the symbiote pieces on them, there's already some deep creases where the arms actually bend. This is nothing new though, because Spider-Man suits often get creases just by looking at them, but the symbiote pieces just make me extra nervous. The back piece feels like it really sticks in there and really sticks to the suit, and then the arm pieces, I just really don't like how much extra weight they put on the joint, so I feel like it's gonna droop down over time. For now though, everything's good, but if like the black suit I get damaged later on, I will definitely keep you all updated. But let's talk about Peter Parker Anti-Venom Suit down in the comments, and what a horrible figure name to print on the base. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like and hit subscribe for much more content like this. Check out another figure review in the playlist that'll pop up, maybe the black suit review, or check out the collection tour to see how my collecting journey's going. As always, thank you to the channel members. I look forward to talking to you all again very soon, but until next time, stay 6 scale.